The Creation by James Weldon Johnson.
Yes.
And God stepped out on space and he looked around and said, I'm lonely. I'll make me a world. And as far as the eye of God could see, darkness covered everything. Blacker than 100 midnights down a cypress swamp. And God smiled. And the light broke. Darkness rolled up on one side, and the light stood shining on the other. And God said, that's good. Then God reached out his hand and took the light in his hand, and he rolled it around in his hand until he made the sun. And he set it ablaze in the heavens. And the light that was left over from making the sun, God gathered it up into a shiny ball and flung it against the darkness, spangling the nights with the moon and the stars. And down between the darkness and the light, God heard the world. And God said, that's good. Then God stepped down with the sun on his right hand and the moon on his left. The stars clustered about his head. The earth was under his feet. He walked, and where God trotted, his footsteps hollowed out the valleys and bulged the mountains. Then God stopped and looked and saw that the earth was hot and barren. So he stepped out to the edge of the world and sped out the 7 seas. He batted his eye and the lightnings flashed. He clapped his hands and the thunders rolled. And the waters above the earth came down. The cooling waters came down. Then the green grass sprouted. Then the little red flowers blossomed. The pine tree stuck its finger to the sky, and the oak spread its arms, and the lakes curled down into the valleys and the rivers. And God smiled again, and a rainbow appeared and curled itself around his shoulders. Then God raised his arms and waved his hands over the sea and over the land and said, bring forth, bring forth. And quicker than God could drop his hands, the fish and the fowls, the birds and the beasts swam the rivers and the lakes, roamed the forests with their wings, splitting the air. And God said, that's good. Then God looked around. And God walked around on all that he made. He looked at his sun. He looked at his moon. He looked at his little stars. He looked at all the world that he made and all his living things. And God said, I'm still lonely. Then God sat down by the side of the hill where he could think. By a deep, wide river, he sat down with his head in his hands. God thought and thought till he thought, I'll make me a man. Up from the bed of the river, God scooped the clay from the banks of the river. He knelt down. There, this great, mighty God, who lit the suns in the sky, who flung the stars to the farmost corners of the earth, who rounded the earth in his hands, this great God, like a mammy bending over her baby, knelt down in the dust, toiling over a lump of clay, till he shaped it in his own image. And then into it, he blew the breath of life. And man became a living soul. Amen. Amen.
I need you to put your hands together a second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody. Oh yeah. Cause he's the one. Come on. Who made the mountain? And who made the tree? Who made the river flow to the sea? Who made the moon? Mr. Butler. Somebody.
Butler.
Y'all can sing it if you want to say. Somebody, I know 'cause I tried for myself. Oh, my God is big up. He's so much bigger. My God is, oh yeah. And who made the flowers that bloom in the spring? And who wrote the songs that the robins sing? And who made the rain when the earth is dry? Somebody bigger. I know he is. He's gotta be somebody bigger, y'all. He's bigger than you and I. Now he lights the way when our road gets long, and he keeps me company. He would love to guide me. He stays right beside me, just like he walks beside you. When I am weary and filled with despair, who gives me courage to go on and on and on from there? And who gives us faith that never, never, never dies? Somebody bigger. That's right, I know y'all. Somebody bigger. Bigger than you and I. Now he lights our way when our road gets tough, and he keeps us company. And with the love of God, he'll be right beside you, just like he walks beside me. Somebody, come on, choir. Somebody. Bigger than you and I. Somebody is bigger.
It's gonna